just cycle. But the other interesting thing, it was like this offhanded bio, like just a few lines. But in it, she said, I've helped raise $325,000 for clean water and sanitation for countries, in need of clean water and sanitation. I raised $10,000 for Cure Cancer Australia through marathons and triathlons. And she also does this Bike Gal website and project that she's on about, while also having a full-time job and doing all the other things that we all do. So I feel really thrilled to have her here tonight, and I really want to welcome you and acknowledge you tonight, Rachel. Maybe we could just start off by you just explaining a little bit about Bike Gal and how that worked, how it came about.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me for a start. Jono told me that he wasn't going to tell me what the questions are, which freaks me out because I'm a control freak, so I wanted to know in advance, but apparently this is meant to be spontaneous, so this is me being spontaneous. Bikeout.com really came about because I started cycling a few years ago. I'm a Sydney resident. I didn't really cycle as a kid, didn't really have a bike as a kid, so I decided in my 30s that maybe it'd be fun to ride a bike. And when I set about to do that, I realised it's really hard to find good information about all the things I needed to know. And most of the people that helped me or told me things about cycling were just people I knew, people in my own family who rode bikes. And it really got me thinking a few years later, and when I talk to other women about, they say, oh wow, you ride a bike and you ride to work, that's crazy, it's not safe, and I'm not confident enough to do that. And I realised, well, you really are. And I thought, well, perhaps I could provide the forum for all that information, all the things I learned when I started cycling. And besides all that, cycling's just really, really fun.
I asked Rachel earlier, I said, it's pretty extraordinary what you've done. Not only with Bike Gal, but all this kind of fundraising and such. And she said, let's just do a hand. It's no big deal. But I think it actually is. I think we couldn't have actually selected, to me, a better woman to be here tonight on a night about raising girls. And the question I kind of have for you is what is it that has it be natural to you to actually want to contribute to creating not only Bike Gal but raising money for people who really need these funds for water or sanitation? What is it within you that goes, I really want to do that?
That's a really hard question. I think inspiration is a hard question, but while I was sitting here tonight and listening to Steve, and I thought, well, what really inspires me? I think I'm inspired by challenge. And if someone says you can't do that, well, to me, it's all the more reason to give it a go. And part of the reason I built Bikegal.com is to challenge other women to, face your fears and just do it. And anyone that tells you cycling is easy, and I actually just said this to my mum the other day, who's in the audience, because she hopped back on a bike on the weekend after a long time not riding. And I said to her, anyone that tells you cycling is easy is either in the Tour de France or they actually have not been on a bike for a long time. So when they say to you cycling is easy and you know that A, they're not in the Tour de France, B, then ask them, well, when did you last get on a bike? And they'll probably tell you, when I was 20 or 30 years ago or whatever, in which case they have no idea. So cycling is not easy, I think that's fair, and it's a bit scary, but I say embrace the fear and go for it and you'll probably have a great time.
Now, the other thing that Rachel just offhandedly mentioned to me was that a year ago she couldn't really swim properly. And here's a woman who's raising money, triathlons, is it? I think there's something really to be said about this. So there's something about your approach and attitude to things that other people may go, well, that's going to stop me from actually doing that. Tell me about your swimming example and what's your approach to taking on something new?
Well, all my friends and family that are here tonight will be my testament to how much I have complained about swimming over the last year. I decided a year ago that I needed to tackle a new challenge, and that was swimming. And I got in the pool, and I tell you, I couldn't do 20 minutes of freestyle. And I set myself the challenge of doing a triathlon, which is a fairly long open water swim, setting aside the cycling and the running. And so I started swimming, and I started seeing a swimming teacher and swimming really regularly. And I used to complain all the time, I can't swim a lap, and all these people, you know, Cook and Phillip, and they're swimming up and down and they make it look so easy. But it's really just, it's practice and it's perseverance, and it's the same with cycling. You just really need to have a go, and it probably took me a solid year to actually be able to swim, and I did just do my first triathlon, and that was a 750 metre open water swim. And I just said to Jono, I do know at one point in that swim I had a minor freak out somewhere out in the middle of Cornell, but you just pick yourself up and you keep going, and it was a great experience. So again, swimming is the same as cycling. It's just about tackling the fear and doing it, and I'm still tackling it. I'm still tackling ocean swimming at the moment, so I've been tackling body surfing, which is a skill I never seemed to grasp as a child, but I'm grasping now. So I think if you've got a fear and it's scary to you, I say go out and see if you can tackle it. And if cycling is your fear, then come and visit me on my website.
Okay. And tell me, the grant from the City of Sydney, so you wanted to set up the bikeout.com. How did that help bring what you wanted to do into action into the world? How was that supportive for you?
Well, I mean, the grant really was about cash, not to sound facetious, but it was. And to do the website, I was either going to have to put up the money myself, which I couldn't really afford to do. And when I costed it out and worked out the design and all the build elements and writing it and whatnot, I couldn't have afforded to do it myself. So the City of Sydney grant really made the website be possible. Apparently I'm one of only 2 websites to get funding in all of their grants, and as you heard, it went all the way to Clover Moore and her posse, and they thought it was a good idea, so it became a reality. So I got the money and pretty much gave a big chunk of it away to the graphic designers straight away and started writing, and they started building it, and now it exists.
Mm-hmm. And with 2 minutes to go, how do people get involved in bikeout.com?
How do you get involved? Come and check out the website. So bikeout.com has lots and lots of information, including a really fun blog which tells you mostly all the things that went wrong when I started cycling, getting stuck into tram tracks, falling off, balance, all those sorts of things. Or you can come and find me on Facebook. So I have a Facebook page for bikeout.com, and if you like the page, you will get updates from me. And I hope that all of you will get on a bike, because I said to my friends tonight, there's so many of you here that are my key audience. You're women and you're in Sydney, and I want to see you on a bike.
Is there anything else, Ty, did you want to kind of conclude with anything in letting the audience know about anything?
Yeah, sure. Look, Caitlin's going to be here if people want to talk about grants, but listening to what Steve was talking about in terms of raising kids in the city, I imagine would be even harder than raising kids somewhere else. We've had a resurgence in the number of families who are looking to live in the city and who are living in the city. The last census just told us that there's more and more, and we certainly are finding it. We're just in the next 6 years building 6 new childcare centres in the city as an example of the type of demand that we're having. So if people have got ideas that are also focused on supporting parents to raise kids, networks of parents coming together, families doing things as well, they are the types of ideas that we're also interested in hearing about for our grants program. So feel free to raise that as a topic. The only other thing I just want to say about Bike Club that's so great is that we had Jan and Del, the Danish urbanists, work with us on our vision for 2030 and on light rail down George Street and cycle lanes, and they looked at the Danish experience about what makes people use bikes, and we knew that if you saw women and you saw children using bike lanes, that you'd been successful. That they'd been designed in a way that made people feel safe. So to walk around the city and that project like this, which really actively encourage women and children to use the bike lanes, we know that the numbers are swelling, that more people are using them. It was a project that took enormous courage for our organisation to build them, and they have been controversial. But organisations and groups like Bike have been really great in making people feel safe and encouraging them to use it. So it's great.
Thank you, Simon. And thank you for coming along to try to... I take that as the clap for time. I really want to acknowledge you, Rachel. This was for you, and we're this award for this event. And so please give it up for Rachael. So Patrick's going to come back. He's going to see us out. I just want to really thank you all for coming tonight. And there's a announcements I want to make before the evening finishes. One